Well, hello. Happy Creative Sparks Day. Um, I'm just going to dive right in here today to say that I have really been listening over the past few months so deeply to all of your struggles and your joys and your growth edges around play and creativity, because that's what I do and that's my passion, my obsession, even. Um, all of this has got me thinking about wholeness even more than usual. It's been a theme that I've thought about in my life for a while now. I grew my own whole voice, and now the name of my business is Grow Your Whole Voice. So wholeness is a big thing with creativity and play. And I am finding through listening to you and listening to myself and listening to the universe deeper and deeper answers to that question of when we lose our creativity, when we lose our connection to our creativity, what does it take for us to be whole again? So many of us lose it. And that's why back in the spring, I did some Q&As with a whole big bunch of you and a whole bunch of women, and I'm going to share a few of the findings because I have finally gotten around to kind of compiling that stuff into my little creative purpose report. And what I'm going to share is I'm going to use a word as strong as betrayal. You may have heard me use it before, creative betrayal. And I'm just going to share what I am finding are the biggest betrayals for women and femmes around our creativity and play. We compare ourselves to others. That's one of the biggies, and I think is probably at the top of the list that I heard through my Q&A. We get perfectionistic, so common. We avoid action and some uncertainty. A number of you mentioned ADHD as a factor in that. There are also too many transitions in each day for us. That's one way in which we um, have been almost forced to betray our creativity, is by having to build all these, put on all these hats, do all these different roles, um, always putting the needs of other people before our own, which we seem to know in our heads is not really functional, but our nervous systems have been not designed, our nervous systems have been acculturated to do that. We get disconnected from our emotions, and a lot of times, some during this, quick 15-minute Q&A that I did with some of you, with so many of you, shame, the concept of shame came up, even just in a quick little Q&A like that. There's also family support and parenting that are in the way, that are big obstacles to that. And one other theme related to that is that there's kind of a tug and a pull for women and femmes between creative caregiving as like an amazing outlet and also as a time suck. So these are the betrayals, I would say, that we have done to ourselves and that our culture has done to us as well. And so as I hear you through those Q&As, and then since then too, and just so many conversations with so many of you, I hear you talk about your struggles to find balance and harmony in your life, as we went through play programming and everything like that too. How do we harmonize work versus play? How do we not keep them separate? I watch you kind of do everything. I watch you bend over backwards to make things work for your loved ones, and still then fail to get to the core of what you yourself need. I can feel that tug of war when we're in these conversations. I can feel it going on inside you as you do everything you think that you should do and more, only to still end up dissatisfied with your life and winding up dealing with a high level of anxiety or depression and fear, which, as I've said before too, I share that kind of stuff. Even though you've been doing all this hard work to manage these things and it's gotten better, and yet you still feel a lack of passion and dissatisfaction. So my job is to keep dialing in new ways to help you with that. But first, I do want to address the elephant in the room. I mentioned it real briefly just a moment ago, that when you start, this is what I witnessed, to see the possibilities of changing some of these patterns, The fear, your fear that everything's just going to fall apart gets really real. So that's just something we need to name. It's there, and let's not ignore it. Let's not avoid it anymore. The fact that I need you to know is this. We do still need to care. We do still need to even compromise sometimes within our relationships with other people, with our governments and our social systems, with the natural world. We need to do that. And let's go deeper here. What are the parts of you that should never be compromised? What can you claim as your birthright? Those things that you would fight for everyone else in the world to have, but haven't yet allowed for yourself. What does your soul need? Okay. I guarantee you that the best answers to these questions lie in the realm of play and creative expression. So, as one of my clients said to me recently, it can be really easy. They're like, well, if I had just identified these, even just a few of these things related to play and creativity a year ago, how different and better my life would be. They they felt that. So please allow me to help you relearn those forgotten and buried and maybe fragmented parts of yourself. Allow me to help you get back to wholeness more easily in ways that fit in with the life you want, ways that give you all the confidence and freedom that you need to make the kinds of small, gentle adjustments where you look back a few months later and notice how far you've come. And then a year later, like my client did, just realize how much everything has changed for the better in your life because you chose to work with me today. I'm going to in the comments put my call link, my wake up call to just strategize a bit about what your landscape can be. Taking this action today is going to make things very different, even just a month or two from now. So, again, happy creative sparks. Great to be here today. Thanks so much for listening and being here. I wish I could read your comments, but I just still have not figured out how to do that in some of this Facebook Live stuff. Um, oh, I do see Catherine saying to turn up the volume. I don't know how to do that. I can't really do that right at this moment on my microphone, and we're almost at the end, so I'm sorry. I wish I could have seen that sooner. Again, thanks so much. I will put the call link in the comments. And Catherine, thanks so much again for being here and tuning in. Talk to you next week.